Hey folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy, ho!
One and only IT in the D Show. I'm your host, Bob Walton-Spiel, hanging out with co-host, producer extraordinaire, Randy Walker. Guest this week, Julie Arpag. She's the CEO and founder of Aligned Recruitment. We have not had a tech recruiter on the show in probably a good 2 years now, if I'm not counting, and struck up a conversation with Julie. She is definitely our people. And I want to get kind of her insight into the tech scene, how to get a job these days, what are people looking for, because the market's awful. But you can find us online at itinthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials, subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
We had a great turnout from what I hear at the Ann Arbor event in Mothfire. Started out with a dozen people, so that's a decent relaunch start. Hopefully the next event will have a few more.
But that's all right.
Yeah, it's the first time we've had an Ann Arbor event since what, 2020?
Since pre-COVID, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while. But Greg said about a dozen people, went well. And then our Detroit meetup will be on Thursday, September 18th, 5 o'clock at... Where is it? Bar Louie in Royal Oak. Back downtown Royal Oak.
It's not.
Unfortunately, I will not be at that event. I have concerts to Powerwolf at the Masonic.
I don't know what that is, but we'll trust that you'll attend.
German power metal band.
I figured it was one of the Nordic or German. Julie's already going to bail out on the show. I think she was ready to hit the leave button.
I'm like, oh, metal. Okay, I'm your people.
No. It's like Nordic speed metal. It's not even like, it's not Slayer. This is like, it's another planet. It really.
Yeah, I've never even heard those words put together in order.
He has all the T-shirts. That's the way he keeps us away from hanging out with him at the concerts, is just going to that. Because if it was like Slayer, I'd be like, oh my God, give me a ticket. Now no one says give me a ticket. He just gets to go.
No, Randy's so happy. It's just him. Just him in the band.
First time they toured in the U.S. was 2 years ago. I drove all the way to Worcester, Massachusetts just to see them because that was the closest they got to Detroit.
My gosh. And was it magical?
Well, it was amazing.
Julie, tech recruiting, are you on the edge of the bridge yet to jump off? What in the world's going on out there today?
I know. Everyone is like, are you okay? Like, are you dead? Did you die? Is everyone dying? I'm thriving. I'll be honest. Like, candidates are chomping at the bit. Like, whenever, because we're headhunters, right? So we don't wait for people to apply. We like go out and find people that are good fits for the jobs that our clients are recruiting for. So I'm kind of loving it because I get pretty good response rates from candidates, which isn't always the case depending on the market. So to be honest, it's been a blessing for our clients, but yes, it does.
I never understood the disdain for recruiters from high level technical people. They're like, oh, another recruiter called me. And I'm like, listen.
I'm like, congrats, they're giving you money? Like, what's the problem here?
I even told him, I said, you might be comfy today, but what happens in 2 years when you get outsourced to Infosys and then, you got to look, and now you're going to be calling Julie going, you're my buddy. Hey, remember me? And, so like,
that literally happens to me, Bob. Like, if you look, because LinkedIn DMs are forever, right? So I have people I messaged 3 years ago for a job, and now they're back in my DMs like, hey, just got laid off. I'm like, I know you did. Remember when you didn't even respond to my message 3 years ago?
I heard, I forget where I saw this from. It was it's not who you know, it's who knows you. I'm like, we've been saying it wrong, and it flipped the thing, because it's always like, it's because we used to always speak about our network, and we used to talk about it's not where you are it's not where they are to you, it's where you are to them. Because again,
that's a good distinction, and I've actually never heard that before. But
it's the people that only call you when they need something, right? And you know who they are. And I never mind helping. I kind of put myself out there doing this IT and the D thing, where you only call, but like, when are you calling me asking me to take me for a sandwich? Like, you don't, like, it's always, I need something. I can't imagine what you go through with all of a sudden you're the most important person in their life until you're not.
It's hysterical. Like, every time I post on, because I post on LinkedIn a lot, that's like a lot of our go-to-market strategy to work with new companies that are hiring. So every single post, it's just candidates like commenting, like, please get me a job, or sliding into my DMs. And I'm like, listen, y'all, I'm not working every rec that's currently open in America. So like if I'm working a role that's a fit for your
Yeah.
background, 100%, I would love to chat. More often than not, though, they have like a super random title. And I'm like, that's not what I'm recruiting for. I'm so sorry. So it does kill me that I can't help everyone.
That
But
is
yeah,
a
I
great
do get a
business
lot of
plan.
those.
Post on LinkedIn, profit. It's sorry, South Park reference. Sorry.
Yeah.
When I know I'm old. I don't care. Unapologetic.
You're so old. It's okay. It's okay.
I want to dive into resumes before we dive into everything else. I know
Let's do it.
this whole madness of dump your resume into an AI rewrite based on the job description. I've heard this being done a lot. Is that and I keep hearing a little bit old school on how like the techies, at least like let's say I'm a seasoned software engineer. The old take was I'm going to write a 16-page resume with a catch-all on every single word that ever's been uttered by a technologist, and then have the 1-2-pager for when you sit down with somebody that's hard paper. So you get picked up by the filters. Now it's rewrite your resume every time with an AI using an AI generator, whatever the tools are these days. What you're in the trenches. Is there a hot take, or it is what it is? What's the word on your side of the street?
I actually have an even hotter take than
No.
either of those two options. I do not recommend that people apply to jobs, period. That is not my recommendation of how to land a job at all. Like all of the time and energy that you're spending having AI rewrite your resume and then editing it and then shooting off 200 job applications a day is substantially better spent. We already talked through this. Networking. Like everyone hates when I say that because they're like, I'm an introvert. I don't want to do that. I'm like, that's great. Do you want to pay your rent? Do you want to pay your mortgage? Do you want a job? Great. Then you just have to do it. Like you really do have to spend your time and your energy talking with people who are at companies you want to work at, who are in roles you want to be in, going to networking events like IT and the D, whatever the case may be, wherever you're based, wherever you are. That is my recommendation. Honestly, that is going to be a way better use of your time than sitting around and fiddling around with AI resumes.
I got all excited about this for a minute. What about those that are like remote? A lot of things are like, I see things right now that are based in Austin, they're based in Chicago, they're based in, the coasts. And these are remote gigs, and they're hiring people from like Chicago to work a San Francisco gig. Like, what do you recommend they do in those cases where they really can't network?
Network remotely. I haven't worked in an office in like 6 years. I'm definitely not saying this all has to be in-person based networking. All of my networking, maybe 95% is virtual. So like I mentioned, LinkedIn is a huge motion for me as a business owner, but as a candidate, LinkedIn should also be a huge motion for you. Like you basically need to become a salesperson. I know that you work in IT, but you need to become a salesperson during your job search. And you have to run a sales funnel where you're just sending cold DMs every day, or ideally getting warm intros. That's best case scenario. So you start with who you already know, but you do have to be sending out messages, and that is going to give you a much higher success rate than if you just blindly apply to jobs, even if you have AI.
Julie, I know I liked you. Back in probably 2016, I wrote, "Everyone is in sales, even you, Mr. Software Developer," and it's a thing.
Yes,
You have to sell your boss.
it's a thing. Like yes. Yes. And yes, exactly. Even once you land the job, you're still in sales. Like you have to sell the work you're doing. You have to sell your legitimacy as an employee, right? As an entrepreneur, I have to sell my services every single day. Like whoever you are, whatever you do, your job is sales. I love that, Bob. I'm gonna have to take up that 2016
it's out there
article.
somewhere. I will send it to you. What now? All right. I have my take, but I think my take's dated and it's old school. I've been with the same company now for almost 5 years, so haven't really had to network virtually like with people that I'm not dealing with. But like my old take was, what problems can I solve for you? Now, if I show up in someone's DM going, "Hey, I can't offer them coffee because we're virtual. I can't, like, what problems are you solving?" They're gonna immediately go to, "What are you selling, you snake?" What's the best method to network with that like stranger that's in, like remote or even local?
Yeah. I actually recommend being honest. Like, not that you were dishonest when you sent those DMs, but being like totally upfront and transparent. Like, this is why I'm reaching out to you. But you cannot make the bulk of your message about you. So the way that I recommend job seekers do this is you reach out to someone who you've actually looked at their profile, you actually know things about them, you're not just spamming 100 people, and you first say something about them, something congratulatory. Like in your case, like, Bob, oh my gosh, 5 years at Slalom, they must be obsessed with you over there. Love to see that. You're killing it. Way to go. Then you say, I've taken a look at this role you have open there, and it actually looks like I could really contribute to the team. Are you open to 15 minutes just to kind of tell me about your experience there? And if you're open to it, referring me into the job. So I make it about them, but I am explicit about the ask that I have. And
So I want your
asking
take
for
on
their
this
time.
because anyone that has gotten to me has done one of two things. They've listened to one of these podcasts, they've seen my drunken TED talk from a few years ago, or they've read something.
Were you actually drunk for your
Yeah.
TED talk?
Yeah. We had 2.5 hours
Wait,
to kill in between. So we walked over to Temple Bar, and then the word got out that we were talking next. And then all of a sudden the Jameson just starts flowing across the bar. So I probably had 5 PBRs and 3-4 shots, like in the 2 hours, hour and a half prior to
my
getting on the
gosh.
stage. Yeah.
Wow, I have a lot of content of yours that I've got to go do a deep
Any
dive into after
podcast
this.
before COVID was at least 10 beers in for all of us. It was a thing. We pre-gamed, then we during gamed, and then it was bad. And we did shots during the show. It was crack beers in the mic. It was a thing.
Why did
Because we were
COVID
all
change
remote
that?
and sitting in our basements, and I guess it didn't change it. It just
Oh, so you would
yeah.
in person get together and drink and do
Yep.
this
We
podcast
had a
together in person.
studio, so
Oh,
that
got it,
we
got
would
it,
go
got
to the
it.
bar
Okay.
first. I digress.
And
What the hell
after.
were we talking about? See, Julia.
After
And we
Randy's
went
like,
on
yeah, we
after.
just never stopped drinking beer. No, that was a good tangent. I'm sorry, I had to stop you in your tracks of the drunken TED Talk piece. So I was saying about the networking thing and like the message I recommend sending. You were saying that what caught your eye was if people
All right.
mentioned
So
the
what I was saying
podcast.
was, love the work you're doing at Slalom and really enjoy your pod. Like it feels like it was scraped from ChatGPT. Like, because they'll go, the
Sure.
work you're doing as a senior dot manager partner sales at Slalom can, like, oh my God, you scraped that. So like
Yeah.
making like the ones that really made it personal. And I'll be honest, it took probably 3 minutes to make it personal, but like, is there anything farther you can go than like really, instead of seeing their title, go, you know what I mean? Like being genuine about it. What's the best thing they can do?
Yeah, so I dig as deep as I can. So like whatever that like if your profile said that you like loved rescue dogs, I would like throw that in there as well. So you would know that I wasn't just like plugging your LinkedIn into
Yeah.
ChatGPT and asking it to write me a message. Like so I agree. Some people you can't do that. Like there just isn't enough there to find something deeper. So what I actually do now that I'm not a job seeker obviously, but I do recommend this for job seekers is sending a voice DM. So on LinkedIn, you can literally send up to a
That's not
minute of just
creepy.
you talking. So I recommend. I don't think so. I mean, it's landed me a lot of
Isn't that
sales
how
calls
you
and a
got
lot
to
of
me?
clients, so they apparently liked it.
I got to look up
Probably.
how you got to me. I think it was,
Yeah, we'll have to look
I'm
back at our
totally opening it
DMs.
up right
Yeah,
now.
but please do. But no, because in the age of AI, to your point, you could totally think that if it's a text message, you're probably going to assume AI wrote it. So I want to be like, nope, it's me, a human. Hello, I'd like to talk to you.
Hang on. It's going, you totally sent me a video message.
There you go. And here we are today.
Can you hear this?
This is such a perfect example. I'm so glad you pulled that
Can you
up.
hear
This is
this?
a case study.
No,
Damn
it's
it.
not piping
No.
through.
You sent me a video and you were talking, and I was like, here's my cell number. Call me. Let's go.
Yeah.
I didn't see now. I think it works
works
for you. If I
really
did
well.
it, I think I would get put on a list. Is that, or if Randy did it, they'd be like, oh my God,
Because of the beard, you
totally.
would be afraid of your beard.
No, I think you can get it. And I don't mean this as like a, but like, I don't think I can get away with that. I really don't.
Sure. Some people, it's funny. So I learned that tactic in a mastermind that I did. And they were very transparent. They were like, some people are not camera ready and they should not do this. Like they were trying to be very PC about the way they said it, which is why I'm saying like, just throw out a voice DM. Like don't involve your face. Just throw just a quick audio message. Hello, love you.
Yeah,
XOXO.
no, I'm not doing that. All right, so now we sent the video message, and now we're like, hey, I saw this job. Because I'll be honest, I will get, if there's a good job posting at Slalom, I'll get 20 DMs, and I don't like the thing I have to say. It's kind of like I gave away free tires on Marketplace last weekend, and I had to I answered everyone, but I also said, there's somebody en route. If they flake, you're 7th in line in queue, right? So like, I had to be like, hey, I'd love to get you in front of the right people, but you're like 14 in queue right now. Like, is there a polite way or a better way to do that?
Yeah, which is why people should not listen. So you're an example of someone who's probably not like, do you respond to all those DMs? That's crazy. Okay. That's very generous of you. That's very kind.
I want the same back for me. So like, I always try to like, I go to the Church of Karma. Like I kind of believe in the universe. And that's kind of my way of saying, if I ever happen to need something like this, I want someone to respond to me. That's all it is.
No, Bob, you are doing the right thing, and I respect the heck out of that. I'm just trying to caution anyone listening to this who's like, oh, I'll just find a Bob and send one message and then I'll get a response. That it's not going to happen. Like you need to be sending like 20 of these a day, right? And it's like sales, right? Expect a super low response rate, expect a super low conversion rate, but then eventually this will lead to you landing something. So I think what you're doing is very gracious, but I think people should expect to get ignored.
I would say that too. Again, because I think like usually when we meet people in person, you always listen instead of like I have a disdain for elevator pitches. So these are conversations, and you don't like to come out and say, what kind of problems can I solve for you today? But you can always listen to what's a bug up your ass. That's kind of a line I always use or some derivative of it. And some like, I need to get hooked up with so-and-so. Like I happen to know 3 of those. Right. So like, I'm always looking out, and again, it's a paying it out thing. All those job fairs we did, all the pink slip parties we did, like we never asked for a thing. It was always just, kind of putting out good in the universe. So let's get into job fairs real quick. I think they're trash. We did the whole pink slip party concept because it was, it was feedback we got going. I went to this job fair, stood in line for 45 minutes to give me a postcard saying, put my CV online. And then thanks. And I could have done that online. How the hell did I even come here? I still see them happening. What is are you pro, against? Is there a better way to do things? What's your take on job fairs?
So I've literally I attended one job fair one time as an employer. And in general, I don't recommend them. I don't think that they're a good use of the recruiter's time. And I don't think they're a good use of the job seeker's time. Now, that is specific to my industry. So I recruit in tech and I recruit exclusively from mid-level to senior level roles. So typically those people are going to be connected to me via headhunting. Either I'm going to get a referral or they're going to be referred to me, or I'm going to go headhunt them. I'm going to go find them. I have seen my friends who work in high volume recruitment, more junior level positions. I have seen job fairs be super effective for them. Like if you just want to work at Amazon as like a merchandiser, like, okay. Yeah. That's probably the place for you, but that's not your audience of this podcast, right? So I do not recommend job fairs.
So that's when we did the pink slip party. Like it was I don't want to say it was a simple concept, but it was, we're going to do these in nightclubs. We're going to do these where if you're hiring, you're going to wear a big giant lanyard. And if you're looking, you're going to wear a little sticker that says your name and what you do. And there's going to be a house DJ on stage, and we're going to have beers in our hands, and you're not going to bring a resume, and people aren't going to, and we're going to have conversations. And the feedback we've gotten was crazy. Like they're meeting 5, interviewing 3, hiring 1. And we expedited the process wholeheartedly. And like GE hired 300 people from like 4 events. You know what I mean? It was successful.
That's crazy. Why do you think that worked so well?
I think it was a timing thing. And I think there was a lot of exhaustion from those traditional job fairs. We didn't know. We just knew that something else sucked, and we said there's got to be a better way. First one we had, it was in a sports bar, and if you were a recruiter, you got a pub table, And it was basically just like, it was almost speed dating at that point. But we also had to coach the recruiters saying, do not take resumes from anyone. These are conversations. Spend 3 minutes with people, find out what they're looking for. What do they do? What are they good at? You know what I mean? Like actually engage. So like we kind of broke down the barrier of, I'm getting 300 resumes. I can't filter through all of them. You know what I'm saying? So we expedited the whole process.
So how did you make sure that everyone or enough people at the job fair were fits for the jobs
Took
that
a
they were
chance.
actually recruiting
Didn't
for?
know. Kind of didn't care. No, but the people that were recruiting everyone from help desks to CIOs. These are like there was 40 companies at the time in town that were like these boutique, 50-person staffing firms. We took a flyer, like really it was that. But again, though, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Like we're getting asked now that the job market is bad, dare I say ass, that we bring them back. And I don't think it'll work today.
What do you feel like has changed?
There's a lot of people out there. The consensus is a lot of these postings are ghost postings, so they can show that there's energy going on, but there's no hiring going on. Like back then, like in 2017, they would actually hire these people. I keep hearing the same notion. But I get it twofold. There's a project we're working on. We can't staff enough cloud engineers to save our life, right? But at the same token, then they say, well, those are ghost postings. So it's a very weird world right now, especially like AI assisted software development. There's a lot of outsourcing going on, nearshore, a lot of nearshore going on. So I don't know. I don't have the perfect answer yet. Like I try to keep my ear to the ground as much as possible, but it's a lot.
It is. And I'm in kind of a similar boat to you where because we're always hiring for our clients, for us, the market is always hot. Like we're always like, here are opportunities, here are the people that we're looking for. So we don't talk to the companies who have ghost postings, right? Because they're not
Sure.
going to pay a recruitment firm to fill a role that they're not actually hiring for. So that's not on my radar, but I do definitely hear that anecdotally from job seekers. What I know does happen, which sucks, is that a company will have a genuine list of roles open, and then the economy's been insane.
Yeah.
Like, let's just call that out. So unexpected things can happen, and that makes a job that they opened in good faith a role that they now just can't fill. So I have heard of that happen.
I mean, I think another big thing is too, like Stefanini used to hire help desk people by the hundreds. We wrote a whole program to put people through, and that was your associate degree, basically sit in a help desk chair for 2 years and figure out what you like, cert up as much as humanly possible. I don't see that happen. I think all those help desk jobs are gone. Like, I don't think they're here. Like we used to be able to call tech systems going, how many do you need? 40? I'll put 50 in front of you in 2 weeks. I mean, the bartenders, there was, you know what I mean? Like you get your 3 or 4 certs and they were getting help desk gigs. And I think that's gone, which was the feeder for all the engineers you see today. Do you have, are you seeing it or is it just here?
I actually do. Yeah. I'm very intrigued by that because I've noticed the market for junior to mid-level engineers is basically gone. Like I see, so my brother works as a software engineer and he's noticed if he wanted to move, he basically wouldn't be able to. Like he would need to wait until he's either at like principal engineer level or, freaking like director level, because all of these more junior level jobs he sees are getting eaten up by AI. Like you're just basically hoping an engineer can do the job of 10 engineers. And so now you're not hiring for that junior to mid-level role at all. So different vein than help desk, but I think it's similar in that a lot of those tasks are being automated, which means the job market for that level is basically eliminated. So yes, I definitely do see that.
I've been seeing automation going on since I started, and I'm an old man, so this is pretty much since the get-go. There was, 50 people in a SOC looking at log files, and all of a sudden here comes machine learning sim, and then all of a sudden now they only need 3. And now these people have to get repurposed to do something innovative. So I think,
yeah, this is not new, right? Like we all there was the industrial revolution, right? Like we all understand how to pivot. Like we all understand, like, okay, when new technology comes out, certain jobs are eliminated and certain jobs are created. Like that's just the reality of society. So I don't think this is going to be a net negative. I think there is still going to be the same number of jobs open. I just think people are going to need to learn how to use AI in a way that they haven't had to before, so they can be.
So what is the feeder system these days? What are you seeing anything? I know you're kind of out of that market, but you have to be seeing it. It's still the go get a help desk job for 2 years, or what's the feeder system now? Is it trying to get a big degree?
For someone who wants to move into IT specifically?
Or
yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people. So I've seen boot camps over the past 10 years get massively popular, whether it's IT or engineering, and I've seen those be super effective. I mean, they're 6 months.
Are those gone
now?
Pretty
cheap, and then typically no, there's a lot of boot
Randy,
camps.
do you still see them in Detroit? Because they've been quiet, unless it's just me.
I haven't heard much, but I would assume at least like some of them are going on.
We used to have tons of them in this town, and then it's been either they've been quiet or they, you know what I mean. They used to beg to come on the show and talk about, I don't see them as much. Maybe in Atlanta, or in your market, but up here it's been quiet.
And we recruit remotely. Like we have clients all over the US. So one of our clients is literally an ed tech company where one of their offerings is a boot camp, and they're hiring like crazy. They just closed their Series B funding, like they're scaling. So I do see a lot of movement in that space still. So yeah, I think people who want to kind of break into IT or break into tech, I think that can be a great way to do it. But again, I'm going to sound like a freaking broken record here. I see the most effective way to land your first job is networking and just meeting people, knowing people, not being afraid to put yourself out there.
I want to double click on that. Sorry, I just use consulting jargon. You can shoot me later. Yeah, well, I know. We have a bingo sheet for new clients if we use too much consulting jargon. What?
Good.
So I'm just starting out. I'm just now, let's say I'm post boot camp, because we get a lot of students that come to IT and the D events. For some reason, we got listed on Handshake in terms of organizations to go to. I'm like, oh my God, how the heck did that happen? But like the pitch is, I'm fresh out of school. Like, what is a good elevator pitch intro statement? Like the banger intro. Like, do you have you have anything in mind to not just to say, well, I'm graduating soon, I want to get into IT. Well, that's great. Like what? And then
like you're saying, what should they say to get someone to sit down with them for coffee and be willing to network with them?
I think the messaging is very generic today.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I think that's crazy. So people will like you more if you let them talk more. So speaking of, we're all in sales, studies show that if you let someone talk for at least 4 minutes uninterrupted, their dopamine
how hard that is for me to do that. Let people do that.
So the most
I had to cut you off to say that.
You did have to cut me off to say that, Bob. You proved your point really well. Good job. So the best advice I can give to students is ask a ton of questions, listen to the answers, ask follow-up questions, and people will always think so well of you if you let them speak the vast majority of the time. And the way that you do that, like the way that you score that initial meeting, is by showing genuine interest in who they are and what they do. That is the absolute best recommendation I can give to anyone listening.
So saying why and saying, tell me more about that. Like, is that like the key to it?
Like, don't be a robot, right? Like, be a regular person. But yeah, if someone's talking to you and you're talking about, like earlier you mentioned it being really hard to staff engineers, they could be like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, what project are you working on? Like, why do you think it's been so hard to find enough people for that team?
Let's shift to like the senior levels, because we're getting a lot of this in our town where there's some really good people in some very high positions that are either getting shifted out, moved on. I don't think it's an ageism thing. I think it's just when I was at Cisco, I got laid off because I got my first gray hair and they got rid of all the gray hairs. That was the joke. But like, do you have, like, in terms of, these are some of the smartest, brightest people and they're having a really hard time out there. Not saying you'd have a tips or tricks, but is there anything to, and I'm not saying hide their age either, but just as a competitive advantage, anything they could do to leapfrog or to get, like, because a lot of us were used to the way it used to happen, and it's not like that anymore. And we're trying to figure out why.
It was the way it used to happen.
I mean, you knew you were good at what you did, and you would get 47 companies call and say, I want you to work for me. And now, like, some of these people that have worked at pick your Mount Rushmore of IT companies, vendors, and they've been doing that for 20 years, and all of a sudden they get broomed out, and then, oh my God, what's next? And they're not getting the 100 phone calls like they used to, right? Used to be able to get a CCIE and get 100 offers in 3 days, being funny, but it's not like that anymore.
No, not at all. That's crazy to hear that it used to be like that. That's so not the environment. Okay, so I would say, again, like, you have to be selling yourself, right? Like, it doesn't really matter how good you are at what you do if you haven't been able to articulate that you're good at that, and you haven't been able to make relationships with people that know you're good at that and can promote you to whatever role that you're looking for, whatever you want to do. And then secondarily, so ageism is real. Ageism is real. I'm agreeing with you about that 100%. But something I do see is people applying for jobs that are beneath their experience level. And so if you're not getting selected for those jobs, I would say that's typically not so much ageism. At least when my clients decide not to move forward with a candidate because there's so much more experience than their job requires, they're going to get bored in a year and they're going to leave. Like, they're basically looking at this job. Like, they know the candidate is looking at this job as a placeholder, a place to make some money while they're looking for the job they actually want. And that just sucks for the company, right? They're like, I don't want to invest all this time and money in you just for you to leave me in 12 to 18 months. So my best recommendation for those mid to senior level people is you've got to shoot your shot at the jobs that are actually a fit for your experience and what you know how to do.
And a lot of these conversations, it drives me nuts because you have these really talented people and they can't tell you with the Johnny Cash eyes what exactly they do and what they're good at, because they dabble. The dabblers are the ones that drive me the most nuts. They do amazing things, but they'll go, well, I'm in IT. Yeah, I know you're in IT. Well, I'm just a little bit of everything. I got my hands, like, these 3,000 person companies, and they're like an IT director. So they got their hands in everything. And just to get them to be like, to puff her up and say, I created the NIST standardization for my security stack. I redid the domain, right? And like, get the eyes. Like, what would you tell your CEO you did last year? Like, you know what I mean? And then they go, oh, and then this aha moment happens. But like, that's the one thing that drives me nuts as well. I'm in IT. Yeah, I know. Like, what do you?
Yeah, that's such a good question to ask them, though, to like help them think about how they need to pitch themselves. What would you tell your CIO you did last year?
Yeah, I had someone that was like 15 years in IT, and he like, when you really, I had to ask him 17 questions because he was like, oh, like, we call them the human Eeyores. They're just like, oh no, but then you find out they're amazing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, stand up on the pedestal, like, scream how good you are.
Yes. Like, could you please have pitched yourself a little bit better? Yeah. Which is what, again, we're all in sales. Like, you've got to be able to communicate your value prop. Like, why should we hire you? You've got to tell us. We're about to invest 6 figures.
Are you coaching people on that, or what is that part of your life as a recruiter? Because like,
so I coach people who are in my interview process. Like, let's say we have our initial phone call. I'm like, yes, you're a fit. But let's say maybe they're a little rough around the edges as far as their communication goes. I absolutely prep them for that. I'm like, okay, so this next call that you're going to have with this director of IT or this VP or the CIO, they're going to want to hear you articulate the same wins that you shared with me, but they're not going to dig as hard as I dug. Like, I do this for a living. I pull information from people for a living. You need to make it easy for them. Like, you need to come in there. That's the time to write a resume, honestly. So you can put pen to paper and you can put down exactly what your accomplishments have been, what the results were, and as many numbers as you can come with, percentages, things like that. That is the time.
Are you still big on the STAR method on answering questions, or do you have a preferred method?
If you present it organically, I think the STAR method is a helpful methodology, but I think it can make people super robotic. So I think if you can present it like a human and not like a robot,
I don't remember what it is. It situation, like what did you do? How did you do it?
I want to say situation, task, action, result.
Basically, it's just quantifying your answers.
Yeah, exactly. And not just saying what you did, it's saying what the result of it was, which is why I say like have numbers and percentages. Like what did you drive as
Are
a
we
result of the
solely
work
in
that
a
you
business
did?
outcome world right now, or are we still in like
Oh yeah,
you used to be
100%.
able to say like
Yes.
I can program, I know bocce in 17 languages, or Star Wars reference. Sorry.
That's fair. So when I hire software engineers, yes, I do need them to sit there and tell me like what are the programming languages that you know, but then they also have to tell me the projects that they've done in those languages. So it's kind of a
Got it.
twofold question.
So like for the modern job seeker, again, like this has been, a couple years going since like getting a really good update. But like, is there anything I missed, or is there anything you to put someone over and above besides quantifying the network? Like outside of basic blocking and tackling, is there anything that like is the home run ball?
Yeah. So one thing I will say, you asked about AI resumes and if you
Yeah.
should optimize those for the jobs that you apply to. I would say your LinkedIn does need to be dialed in because that is how recruiters find you. So you do need to have what we talked about with your resume, your stats, your brag book basically, that needs to be on your LinkedIn. Make it easy for us. Like put down all the languages you know, put down the projects that you've worked in, put down the technologies that you've worked in. That is what our client needs, like for them to be able to know they want to talk to you. We have to have all of that on paper. So just make everyone's job easy, make it easy for us to hire you. That is the best advice I can give, is optimize
Answer
your
an
LinkedIn
argument.
profile.
The LinkedIn title. Is it what your title is and then maybe a couple other things afterwards, or is it optimizing software stacks utilizing AI for my financial customers? You know who I'm talking about.
I personally prefer your title to be your LinkedIn title. It just makes my job easier. So I don't have to be like, okay, what do you actually do? Like, what is your day to day? What level are you at? Like, that, yeah, please make it easy for me.
We went through that at Cisco. I mean, granted, this was a long time ago, 10 years ago, but like they wanted us to be like, elevating the world's data in or communications, or whatever, that it was bad. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm just not. It's
Yeah. They wanted every single person to put
like
the same
ubiquitous
LinkedIn bio. Oh my gosh.
I wasn't doing it. But then, and that's like the running joke too, is the 17 title. Like I'm not adverse to that because I have like 4 things on there. But like ex Google, ex AWS.
But the ones that are like X every single job they've ever had, and then like all these exits they've had, where I'm like, an exit isn't an exit if you just left the job. But like people just put the most ridiculous things on their LinkedIns. Yes,
I always
totally
like
right.
X. Is there anyone that's okay to do? Like I always see ex Google that does it. Everyone does it. Like, is that the only one?
Everyone does it.
But like,
I think they're all dumb, personally. But you do you, right? Like if that's what you're into, put all your
AI
X's,
pictures.
whatever, man.
Don't
it's your
do
life. We're just living in it. Ooh, yeah. I'm like, what are you trying to hide, my dude? Like, why can't you show me your face? What's up?
We don't see too many weird ones though.
I just don't get like what's the benefit, right? Like, what's the benefit of an AI picture? Unless you literally have something to hide. I think there's
enough networking events that do headshots. Randy, when's the last one that you went to? I think didn't we go to one where they had like a headshot booth? I think like to me that's no excuse anymore if you don't have a good headshot.
Yeah, we did one a while ago. I think I have a headshot from Sherry did headshots for us. Yeah.
What else did we miss, Julia? Because I want to make sure like we check every box.
If people do everything I told them to do on this podcast episode, they will land a job.
And that's a money back guarantee. 90 days or refund. They'll send you a hate mail if they don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sure.
We can find you.
No problem. I can handle it.
On LinkedIn, Julia Arpag.
Of course. I'm actually the only Julia Arpag on LinkedIn. So you will definitely
Do you know there's another Bill in California? And he was actually at Hewlett Packard when I was. And he does not want to talk to me because he thinks I'm stealing his soch. Because it's such a weird, there's only like 20 Waltonspiels in the US. There were 2 brothers and there was one in family in California. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, that's CEO of Aligned Recruitment. top tech recruiter. See, you got the, well, I mean, I guess it's what you do. So why wouldn't you put that?
But no X's.
There's
no X's in there, my dude.
Oh, and you know, it's funny. More profiles for
No
you. There's
X's.
someone that says $28 million exit, builder of killer offshore teams. See, that's the people that had more profiles that remind them of you.
Yeah.
Like on your right, on the right.
Oh, I love that. That makes sense. So I actually know her, the person that you just mentioned. That
Hopefully she doesn't listen to the show.
So that's why they're like, if you're talking to Julia, you're probably also going to want to talk to this person. So that just checks
I can't
out.
thank you enough for bringing insight. Obviously they can hit you, they'll DM you and you'll probably ignore them, but if they need more information, but
they can try. Yep, they can try. A way I will say they can get in touch with me is if they go on our website, alignedrecruitment.com. I actually have a newsletter that is specifically for candidates. So they can go ahead and join that.
I listened to your episode on IT and the D, and I loved the piece there where you talked about like fill in the blank. Would love to get 5 minutes of your time.
Yes.
You know, I can be reached
yes.
at, yeah.
Yes. I will say no, but I will.
Even if they said they listen to you here, that's brutal.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I can't, Bob, I get over 100 DMs a day. If I was like, yeah, I'll take 5 minutes to talk to every single person who's not relevant for any of the jobs I'm recruiting for, my clients would be furious because I would have no time to recruit candidates.
100 a day, you're doing something right. Hats off. Julia Arpag, CEO, Aligned Recruitment. We're going to wrap things up for this episode of the IT and the D Show. We'll put her link in show notes. But on behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.